Hello! Oh my god, there's 3 people already. That's terrifying. Of course, I haven't actually worked out where I'm going to put this camera, so that's going to be fun. Let's put it down here. Let's not put it down here. That's why we start early. This is the garage. Welcome to the garage. I'm just going to work out if I have something I can stand the camera on, because I thought I had somewhere to put it and clearly I didn't. That'd be clever. That would be clever. If it would work. You're going to lie down and look at the sky for a minute. Let's see if I can get onto the washing line. No. 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 Right, we'll do that then. This is the most exciting start to a live stream ever, isn't it? You can tell I do a lot of these. I know, isn't it pretty sky? It's 27 degrees here today. So what's that? 80 Fahrenheit, roughly. Warm. So let's try this. This might work. Oh, that's better. Look at that. See, highly technical. It's a box. How is everyone today? Is everyone good? It's not, I don't know, is it past? I was aiming to start at past, so. It is! 2:30! Awesome! 84 and similar in Chicago, yeah. Worm. So I'm basically going to be here just slowly changing over the charging cable. Oh, well, the charging plug on the charger that we used for the NeoCharge review. So, Nikki very generously sent her old Siemens unit, which is here. And unfortunately, in the mail, you'll notice there's something missing if you're familiar with J1772s. In that there should be a little clippy thing here. And that clip locks the charger into the car, but it also has a switch on it that tells you when the tells the charger when it's being disconnected. And it broke. Literally got it out of the box that Nikki sent it in, put it in the little holster, and it broke. So for the whole of that review, although it does work, but you have to switch the charger off before you unplug it, which is kind of annoying. So at great expense, I have one of these, which is a new Jade 1772, and it has the clip that's missing. There you go. See the clip that's missing. Exciting. So I'm going to try and to remove this old plug. But before I do anything like that, I'm going to check that there is no voltage on it, because I'm not that enthused about the idea of being electrocuted. There shouldn't be. It's been unplugged for a while. Checking the voltage. There's nothing here. Yeah, I'll show you inside the plug. Derek, hi Derek. I'll show you the inside of this plug, the new one, because it's got the little micro switch in it, and you can see that it has a little micro switch that tells it that someone's trying to disconnect it. And then that it has a pilot signal on there, which is low voltage. I can't remember how many volts. Nikki might remember. She's in the chat. So she might remember how many volts and amps you can get across there. It's not many. But it tells you... oh, it came with the other side. That's helpful. It tells the charger that the plug is being disconnected. So... it's shiny and new, unlike the other one. So this may be exciting. There we go. Look at that. So that is the little switch there. It's a little micro switch, which just and the clip sits in there. You are the favourite, Derek, but don't tell anyone else. So I'm going to take this one apart and I'll move the camera so you can see what I'm doing and not my face. Because why do you want to see my face? You want to see what's going on with the plug. So I'm going to move you. This was my original plan, incidentally, was that I would do this when I had a workbench in the garage. But I don't. I still don't. And it's weeks later, so there we go. Yeah, so Jim, yes. You probably could if you bought the same plug again, but I am notoriously very cheap, and so the plug that I've bought is basically not quite the cheapest one off AliExpress, so it is not the same. It doesn't even have these nice, this one has little nice waterproofing plugs that go into the body of the plug to stop water getting in through the screw holes. The new one doesn't have that, but we'll see. Incidentally, if you do a lot of repair stuff, then dental pick tools are the most handy things. Like, short of a spudger set, then these are really good for getting things out. Like this. And that looks like it's smaller. Of course. That one. That looks like a good size. So, I mean, my hope with this is that it should just be take the plug off, switch the wires over, and put the new plug back on. I'm going to take you back up here for a bit so I can see you. That's my hope, is that this plug will just come apart, but I haven't actually taken it apart. Oh, what, this bit? That bit? Yeah, that's missing. Maplin Electronics. Are they still around? They were in the process of dying last time I was in England. So, good old Maplin. I have a lot, I mean, here's my probably dubiously imported leaded solder, because I have over time ended up buying 3 rolls of that. They died. Oh. Well, a big part of my childhood was hanging out and looking at their electronics kits. I had a whole stack of their, like, solder your own whatever water sensor, weather sensors, and all sorts of random kits. It was like the gift that my parents could give me for Christmas. Problem is that they've been that I buy all my stuff from AliExpress now. There are other companies that allow you to buy things. Oh, the oh, at the back. You didn't tell me that, did you? So apparently the waterproofing grommet is missing as well from this plug. I will find out when we get inside. Although I don't think the new one actually has one. It just has a snug fitting bit of rubber. It says it meets J1772 spec. Who knows? Came in an unmarked box. That's how a lot of stuff comes. So, this is one of those moments when I wish I had a little electric screwdriver, and I do not. Oh, around that end. Oh. Okay, so there should be another waterproofing grommet which is missing, which we will see in a moment. This plug is a lot stiffer than the new one. I do not, incidentally, live in a white void, which is what it seems to be turning into, but the sun is quite bright today. I did some filming for something else for Transport Evolved earlier today, and most of where I live appears to be a white void behind me, so I think that's how John Oliver films, so, you know, white void's always good. I'm clearly up there with the best. Right, let's see if this... So, Nikki, since you're in the channel, have you had this plug apart in the past then? Yes, we should. Okay. Oh, so this plug actually has some really nice features, other than being broken and full of small bits of paper. So let's have a quick look. Shall we have a quick look? Can I turn this around? There we go. So this one, unlike cheapy new one, so you've got a little silicone gasket that runs around. Let's put them next to each other so that we can compare and contrast. Yeah, so this one has a silicone gasket to keep the water out here, and this one does not, because it's cheap and new. This one has what I would guess is maybe a Hall effect sensor or something like that. So the actual switch doesn't make any kind of contact. It's completely separate and outside. So that's much nicer. And this one has a much better waterproofing seal around the plug, around the cable entry, and it has a decent cable grip, which I note is completely absent. There is no cable grip in the new plug. No cable grip at all. It just sits there. So that's not ideal. On the other hand, it gets fairly light use, so it'll be an exciting life. It might be shocking. Hopefully it won't be shocking. But that is probably one of the things that you see. It's one of the places where they cut costs. So when you buy cheap chargers, if that's something that you do, obviously you shouldn't. But if you do buy a cheap charger, then you'll probably find that things like that have been costed out of the components. This is actually a really nice plug that I'm taking off, and a really cheap nasty one that I'm putting on. So there we go. And another thing is working out how it is actually assembled to take it apart. Yeah, I am. It said it was waterproof, so fortunately it lives under shade, so and we don't use it that often because we tend to use our open EVSE. But at the moment, what with COVID and everyone being kind of at home a lot, we certainly have been using it more. Just trying to work out how to get this plug apart. Kind of fiddly. This is one of those things where you kind of wish I'd done it beforehand. Yeah. And this has lots of really nice features. Am I gonna connect? Oh, what? As in, use the Open EVSE to control the Siemens charger? I wasn't going to. Yeah. I mean, I think if we were more inclined to use if we were going to be here for a long time, in this house for a long time, then I might be more inclined to do it. But as it is, no. I just need to write something down. White, black. This is the, where do these cables go? Moment. Black, blue, green, orange. Highly technical. I have long ago learned that you take pictures or write things down, or ideally both, when you're taking things apart. So, I'm going to take you back down here so you can look at this again. Because it's probably more exciting than me. There we go. That is my toolbox. Very helpful. Did not intend to do that. There we go. Is that even faintly in focus? Okay. So this one has some little pins in here. That's come out. Then slide out. This must slide out forwards. There we go. Okay. I suppose to an extent I could just cut them, but I'd rather not until I'm reasonably certain that this is going to work. Let's see what those were. Right. Whatever that comment was, it went past and I didn't see it. So, hello, spaceman. Oh yeah, you can watch the chickens. I did promise there might be chickens. It's not actually. I'm going to take you over there for a second. Because this is, our chickens have their run extension, which is which is a lot of plastic pipe. And Pippi, that's Pippi Mimble. Astrid is not coming out for the camera right now. So they are Swedish flower hens. Which is called, it's a landrace breed for those who are familiar with the term, which I wasn't familiar with the term until a few minutes ago. Well, slightly longer than that, a few weeks ago when we got chicken. So it's basically a semi-wild breed. It kind of bred itself into existence on Swedish farms, which were, so they're meant to be a bit more hardy and a bit less finicky, which I thought was good for someone who's starting out keeping chickens, because we've never kept chickens before. Wanted to for a long time, but haven't. So they're not quite old enough to lay. They are, I think we came up with about 16, 17 weeks. So they should lay in the next few weeks. Next month. Nikki came first, although I think we have both long expressed a desire to keep chickens, and I'm not sure which one of us expressed it first. I know that Nikki bought hers first. Well, I'm not sure whose chickens are older. Not sure if mine or hers are older, because we bought chickens. Oh, Nikki does say that I copy her, which is true. I do copy her, but sometimes she copies me. Okay. So this is a challenging plug to disassemble. Oh, so it still has a waterproof gasket. It has one here. So, oh, so yours should be laying really soon there, Nikki. Okay. Have you got eggs? There is a ball in here. There's a small ball bearing in here, which I did not see where it came from, but it is in here. And appears to be loose, which is interesting. Just around the ears. Okay. So, my hope here is that I can disassemble this enough that I can take the wires out without cutting and destroying things, but I suspect that may not be the case, because it is crimped in. It is crimped in. Very exciting. So, okay, we're just going to go for it and cut them. There we go. Plug out. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by the Hall effect, since I haven't seen one of those in one of these before. But then I suppose I haven't taken that many of these apart. I did take one apart. So we used to have a pre-first generation Mitsubishi i-MiEV back in England, or i-MiEV, if you like, which it was built for a test fleet in Liverpool, and it was built before the standard for J1772 was completely finalised, and so we had to make a special connector. Oh, now the pins fall out. Oh, so each of these pins, for those interested, has a little sealing gasket on it as well. So it's going to be far nicer than the plug that I'm about to install. So yeah, we had to build a special adapter for that, so that it could charge at modern charging stations, which was an exciting discovery to make when you were driving 200 miles, wasn't it? In a car with 50 miles of range. It was about 200 miles, wasn't it? Down from Liverpool to Bristol. First drive I ever did driving an EV other than a G-Wiz and an Enfield, like a modern-ish EV. Right, there we go. Broken plug. Alright, so let's assemble these bits in order. So this one goes for sealing. It was a long way. It took us most of the day. but did get me into EVs. Yes, well, charging stations back in those days were... We don't talk about the G-Wiz. What, the G-Wiz that you gave me that didn't ever work, except for you. Only ever worked for you. Literally no one else ever got that G-Wiz to work. I might need to get some kind of lubricant for this. Which would be unfortunate, because I didn't think to bring a lubricant out. Yes. It worked, yes. So while I'm trying to force this on, because it's going to take a minute while I'm pushing this seal onto this cable, and I did not bring out any kind of lubricant to do it, any handy lubricant. So for those who don't know, Nikki fobbed off a G-Wiz on me, one of the, again, pre-production? I think it was a pre-production G-Wiz. This is certainly a very early first gen banana yellow G-Wiz, which she had been given not working, and then it worked fine for her, but it needed new batteries. And so we went and got new batteries, put about £1,000, £1,000 worth of batteries in it, I think it was. And it seemed to be working. And yeah, and then we took it to my mother, and it promptly killed all the batteries. Well, actually, it killed one of the batteries. It was one specific cell, one specific battery, and it was they were all 12-volt deep cycle batteries, or 6-volt deep cycle batteries. I can't remember. They must be 6-volt, because there were quite a lot of them. It's been a while. More than that. There we go. And from that point on, it literally would never charge ever again. Hello, Marcel. It literally never charged again, not once. And eventually, after a few futile attempts to solve it, I sold it as a not working car, because I couldn't work out what was wrong with it, and it didn't have the standard charger that G-Wiz's had. So we sold it, and it went to some engineering company, and they were like, "Oh yes, we'll fix it," and they couldn't fix it. It literally never worked again. They ended up charging it using using individual chargers on the cells, on each cell. But it would just randomly let one cell go down to 0, or as near to 0 volts as possible. That's bad. So G-Wiz, there you go. Introduction to electric vehicles from Nikki. It doesn't work. I had very bad luck. I had an Enfield. That ended up, I got that as a replacement, I think, for the G-Wiz for my mother. I think that's the order of events. And that she had for a few weeks before it got drowned in a flood. And that Enfield is now the flux capacitor. Okay, so how have they done their sealing? I feel like I should grow a beard and live in Scotland for this bit. Although that would involve a degree of competence that I don't think I have. So this one has... Oh, is that one Enfield first? Oh, we were just... Yes, it's Marcel. We were just talking about my old iMove. So this one... So the other one has lots of individual seals around the plugs. Surely you're not rating the the Model 3 above the iMeave. I mean, really, there's just no comparison. It is good to know. So this one, so unlike the other one, which has lots of seals around each pin, this one has one big silicone gasket around the whole lot, which I must remember to put on. Yeah, it is. So for the iMeave is enormously good fun to drive. It's basically like a go-kart. It is probably one of the favourite cars I've ever owned. That iMeave. So I think this one, unlike the other one, I think I'm gonna have to solder the pins on. Not entirely surprising. Okay. See, I said, you gotta love dental picks. Dental picks are awesome. So that is that. So this is one of those exciting challenges, because each of these things... Yeah, this plug is going to be horrible to assemble, isn't it? Because you have to put the pins in, and... Oh no, so, okay, so each pin... Oh, don't fall out. Each pin also has... Let's see if I can turn this around so you can see. There's my pick. So just inside here, let's see. Come on, focus on that. It does actually have the seals around the pins. There we go. Seals around the pin, just there. So... And then you can see this one, it has a little spring clip around it. Focus on that. Spring clip around it that holds it tight on the pins on the car. However, the answer to this is that each pin is going to have to be attached. Oh, even the little ones do. That's nice. I have to attach each pin, but I have to feed the cable through before I attach it. And then... So I need my diagram, which is from the back. White, black. Green at the bottom. And then... Orange on the left. No? Yes, orange on the left. And then this pin, this one goes through here. That's interesting. Interesting to me, not obviously to anyone else. And then that one goes through there. What's going on? Chat? Live chat. That's it. Oh, I'm only seeing that. Smaller hatchback. Yes, well, there is something to be said for the small hatchback as an excellent form factor of vehicle. I think they just rock. Come on, where is that? I need... The iMeave surely isn't quirky. Would you call the iMeave quirky? I really like the iMeave. I think the iMeave. I think that the iMeave is one of Mitsubishi's most missed opportunities. I think they really missed an opportunity there, because yeah, the first generation is a really weird, quirky car, but it could have given them such a lead. I've forgotten to put, you see, I said I would forget, put that through. Yeah, it could have been such a great car. And yeah, it's surprisingly good on long journeys. I mean, it doesn't go very far between stops, but yeah. That first 220-mile journey, that was, I think, the thing that really, like, it sold me on EVs, or 250, whatever it was, 200 miles. How far is it from Bristol to not to Liverpool? It was Liverpool. That was the first thing that made me realise that even if the range wasn't there on the early EVs, that these things were just better. Like, they're just better. It's not just about performance and range. I mean, it's important. It's, you know, if you can't get where you need to go, then that's difficult. But the experience of driving an EV is just so much better than driving a petrol vehicle, and that is, like, that was, I think, the moment that I was like, oh, I'm sold on this. This is a great idea. Okay. Worlds of excitement. Here we go. This time, I have remembered to put the cables through the sealing gasket. At least I didn't solder them. I have done things like that before. So, let's try this again. Go through there. That's that. And that. It's one of those things that requires slightly too much concentration. Okay. Yeah, and so, I mean, the one thing I like about doing stuff with Transport Vault is that I feel we really walk the walk as well as talk the talk, because we've driven to Texas in Nikki's Chevrolet Bolt, which is driving to Texas is a patently ridiculous thing to do anyway. What you should do is get a train. There isn't one, but you should get a train. And frankly, it was fine. I mean, I don't think it wasn't like enormous, oh yay, I would love to do this every day of the week fun, but I don't think driving to Texas, from what I can gather from other people who've driven to Texas, it's not fun anyway. White, black, green, blue, doesn't really matter, orange. Okay, things are afoot. So, I have a chunky, ugly soldering iron somewhere around here. I had one. I got it out. Oh, it's there. Okay. So, is that right? Done it wrong again. Third time lucky. Right. So, this is you have to assemble it in order thing. And I'm talking, which is never good. I mean, right. Shoo. Black is on the right on this one. Orange. Should really have just left you watching the chickens while I'm doing this, shouldn't I? This bit's not very exciting. It's just fiddling. Right. So... all the way down. As far as that will go. And then the silicone, because it squashes the silicone for a seal. I think it's silicone. It's rubber of some sort. I love the way that the building is slowly disappearing behind me. I'm quite enjoying that. Sort of... I do have a house. I don't just live in a white void. My name is not Janet. Ooh, yes. You don't want to leave it like that. It's, is that for the i3 there, Marcel? Not the i3, for the iMeave. Or is it for the... for something else? For your Tesla? I'm guessing you don't charge the Tesla by squeezing it through a window? The cord? Not the car? You might. So, yeah, I guess you'll have to find someone to make, unless it's the... If it's the special cable that I made, then it, yeah, that has, special things in it. Just tell them not to look at the resistors in the plug. Because they're 1950s resistors and they're not what they claim to be. Or 60s. They might have been 60s. So they were resistors based on their actual resistance, not on the color code or the numbers on them. If they had, they might not have had numbers. They might have been other ones that don't have numbers. They might have been ones that have color codes, not numbers, but I think they were ones that have numbers on them and that the numbers are wrong. So just so you know, if someone's building you a new special cable for the iMeave, because that is quite a funky cable. I've had that on my blog has been one of those things where I just consistently, every so often, will get a random person asking about it. Oh, that's alright then. That's alright then. Go in that way. Now I have to check. Now what's worrying me at this moment is that, as I recall, there were some little orange gaskets on here. Oh, if I've dropped them in the grass, I'm going to be unhappy. Which I may have done. Or were they in there? They're in there. That's okay. That's okay. So then it has to go in that way around. Okay, it goes in the way around I thought it did. That was a bit worrying for a second. I thought the gaskets lived in this, and they do not. So is everyone else enjoying the heat? Because I do not enjoy the heat. It's very warm here. Right. Do these These do not sit in here, do they? They sit in like that. Okay, just checking. Oh no, I'm sorry, Brent. That's not helpful. That's not nice. Yeah. I'm glad you're all sensible people who are like, no, it's too hot. Right. Okay, we are finally, I think, assembled in the right order so that I can actually solder these pins together. So I was going to change my soldering iron for the tip that does not look like crap. This is actually the same soldering iron that I used for soldering the edges of our kitchen surface together, because that is made with zinc, which is, and I did get lead-free solder for that. But today this will be leaded solder because that's what I've got lying around. I will endeavour to not do a really, really terrible job at this, because that'll be annoying live on camera, but not unsurprising. So I actually have a really nice soldering iron. I have a solder rework station that is inside the house. This does not require a solder rework station. Just check that fits in there. That's got the screw on. Ooh, that doesn't sound good. I'm sorry. That sounds uncomfortable. Okay. That's gonna have to be about there. Itchy and not so... Sorry for the silence while I concentrate for a second. I need something a little sharper than that. There's the wire strippers. So... I think we can safely say that I will not be giving Big Clive a run for his money on this job. A murder hornet. Yes, let's not have murder hornets. That is... Well, this is not my best set. I actually have a nicer pair that's almost exactly the same, but this is a newer one. You're in Olympia, Brent. Ah. Nice to see you. Well, hear you. Hear your words. Something like that. I'm not a big fan of murder hornets in Olympia. Could we please not have murder hornets in Olympia? I am... Ah! I'm intrigued now. Where in Olympia? Now this is one of those moments where I could really do with the little tool I have for holding wires while you solder them. That is still in my storage unit, so that's not happening. So instead, we just go with a bit of luck. I would freak if there was a murder hornet. Southeast side. Like the Tumwater Home Depot? My geography of everything in the world is not good. So, before I smother this in solder, is this going to actually fit? Yes. It will. That's good. Okay. I'd like that to be a little further up that. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Further south for me. Alright. Let's see. I should probably tip you down so you can see that. Can you see that? If I tip you much further, you're probably not going to see anything. Right, this is a manky soldering iron. It did not, like... The problem is I keep alternating between using leaded solder and not leaded solder because I don't have a lot of lead-free solder yet. One day I will. But I have 3 rolls of this to use up. There we go. Yeah, it's only taken me 50 minutes to get to an angle where you can actually see what I'm doing and me. Right, there we go. Come on. Well, you know, I like my electrons leaded. What can I say? It's an anti-knock compound, you know. Stops the electrons banging about against each other. Smooths the flow through the wire. Right, come on. Not super fond of it being a solder joint, rather than a crimp joint. But it is what it is. Come on. Yeah, I mean, I've always used 4-star. I've been, you know, big fan of proper quality electrons. Right, okay. Don't stick. Not got enough? Yeah, not really. Whew. So that heat up a bit. For anyone wondering, the charger was unplugged this morning and has been unplugged for a good few hours before I decided to play this game, and I did check its voltage before we started, and it was at 0. Right. Okay. Try and heat this up. We'll try heating this up. It's a fairly beefy soldering iron, so I might be able to get it hot enough to do stuff this way around. Sometimes. Not there. I want solder on there. That's annoying. I might have to get my solder. I did not bring out... I did bring out a soldering iron stand, and maybe I should dig it out and put some water in it. Yeah, it's a hideous job, isn't it, soldering outside? Come on. Possibly want to do is kind of get lots of solder into there. I'm not a very patient person. That's one of my biggest problems, is that what I really want to do is basically just have it, there we go, be hot enough that I can just feed a gallon of solder in. That's it. In we go. Fill, fill, fill. But this goes against my main principle, which is that the solder is not the thing actually doing the work of holding the connector together. I was always taught that you make a mechanical connection and then the solder just makes a small electrical connection. But in this case what we've done instead is just filled it with solder. So that's always good. What did you say? That is true. Yeah, Raspberry Pis, they're great fun. So, should we just work our way around? Let's do that one next. Yeah, I've got Model B. I think I've got a straight Model B, and I think I might have a Model B Plus somewhere about there. Usually burn myself at some point in this process, because I lack patience. So, there we go. It's maybe a shortened live stream because I think my phone is about to die. Which is funny because it started almost fully charged. Clearly this is the end. Clearly I don't have much time left. So you may not get to see this. You may not get to see the denouement. But I think we're okay. I think that this is just going to be an assembly job now. So, there we go. Not necessarily the most exciting thing in the world. I did make sure my phone was discharged. I actually checked it before I started and it was on like 70%. I don't think it enjoyed this process. I might... I think if I have a cable that I can plug it in with. Yeah, see, that's the problem with that. That's moving. There we go. My charger is inside, so I might go grab it. Depends. Do people want to see the denouement? Do people want me to carry on? Because I'm quite happy to carry on, but I have to run inside and grab the charger. So, depends on whether people are enjoying the entertaining horror of me doing a terrible, terrible thing, because I don't have a way of clamping this. You can tell that I'm used to like hodging ways to make things work in a house where we haven't actually finished the house. Come on. Enjoying the struggle? Okay. In that case, you are going to have some chickens to watch for a minute while I go and find the charging cable. Stay. And you there. I think we'll have to rotate for you to have chickens, unfortunately. That worked. I feel like I should have had orchestral music and like technical difficulties emblazoned across the screen, but but I wasn't that prepared. So, were my chickens well behaved for you? Did they provide entertainment? Yes, I do. I actually would quite like to set up a camera in the coop, because and in the run, because I want to know what they're up to. Especially like there is some possibility. Like we bought them at a few weeks old, and so their age is a bit approximated. So it's like they said they're about 7 weeks old when we got them, and stop telling me I have a low battery charge. I'm the 3.1. So we are not absolutely 100% sure that they are the age we think they are. Like that age is probably within a week or two. So we keep getting chickeny, like laying eggy noises, but they're not quite at what we think of as egg laying age. So the question is, are they at egg laying age? There are no eggs yet. So that's for sure. Right. That is 2 pins. That was an easy one. I like that one. Okay. That was easier with these. What camera did you use? I was going to say, if you 3D printed a camera, I'm impressed, but I was assuming it was an enclosure. But what camera did you use as the basis for that? That's my question for you. That's an important point which I had forgotten, and which I think I've just done wrong, so that was exciting. Yes, I have. I have done that wrong. Going to be entertaining, isn't it? So, important points. Not all pins are the same. So the last time I did this, the pins were, the plug that I got, the pins were in. This one, they are not. Tricky. Focus on that a minute. Focus on that. No, you can't. So they actually are different sizes. The ground pin, it's not the same size, and I've put the wrong pin on it. Less time talking, Kate, more time actually doing what you're meant to be doing. So I am going to have to unsolder this, which is slightly annoying. I might want to do, though, I realise, is prepare myself so I can just hodge it off and back onto another one. So let's do that. At least I noticed before I got too far. Maybe here for days while I try every possible configuration of the parts. Don't like these strippers as much as I like mine. They are all mine, but you know. It's a silent movie now while I do battle with this. Really not intended for cables this big. There we go. Starting to get through it. There we go. Alright. So let's pre-solder that. Just a generic IR camera. Right. Okay. So if we can get this around here, solder on it. Just to help with heat transfer. Come here. Come here. The worst that happens, in this case, is that I melt some insulation off something that I didn't mean to, and have to cut the cable and actually make it a little shorter, which is fine, I can do that, I'd rather not. Trying to keep the cable as long as possible. Come on. So ideally, there we go. See it starting to melt. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. There we go. Come on. Of course, the good thing about working with leaded solder outside is you're less inclined to breathe the lead in. I have actually thought about building an extractor hood just for this. Terrifying amount of solder disappearing into this. This may solve my leaded solder problem in that I may put all of it into this one plug. Okay. Alright, shovey shovey. Shovey in. There we go. Right, fixed the slight disaster there. One disaster down. Let's give that a second. Okay, so let's put the special pin on. So the special ground pin I do have a small torch. I actually have a rework torch. But fortunately, I think this is a 40-watt soldering iron, but it has no heat control on it because it's just a cheap, you know, Weller whatever soldering iron that you get from Home Depot. So this one gets very, very hot. Not actually, I suspect, as hot as my rework station, but very hot nonetheless. Hot enough for this. We got there in the end. So I'm going to cheat and use the solder. No, it is not. That script is definitely not rated PG. So if you read the comments on YouTube, if you're one of the people who reads the comments, I would prepare yourself because there has been a problem with a couple of Teslas and Nikki's going to talk about it. To be fair, whenever Nikki criticizes any company for anything ever, or if I do it as well, then there are certain people who are in love with the brand that they've bought, which is fair, but they can be a little defensive at times about it, which is not so fair. That would be my take on things. This pin is going to need some insulation, I think. Although actually it sits inside the plastic casing, so maybe not. But yeah. Yes. I mean, we all know that neither Apple nor Windows was the right answer. Clearly RISC-OS was the correct operating system for everybody in the world. And now, since RISC-OS is not, you know, massively being developed, it is still being developed. I think it's Cloverleaf project. Obviously, Linux, which is how you pronounce it, Linux. Because that's important too. You couldn't, you know. She's been working on that all day, the script. For those not looking at the comments. Nikki's been looking at the script for this all day. She messaged me about it like at 9 this morning, 9:30? 9:30, I think. And it is now later than that. 2 more pins. So I'm not entirely certain why they've crimped this one. I mean, it's not like this has a crimp connector on it. Shoo. So we're going to ignore that problem. And just solder it. Because why not? There we go. No, the other pilot pin wasn't crimped. Am I putting files on the company server right now? No. I did have my laptop open this morning, and actually my server is on, not my server, my edit machine is on, and it may be connected. But it shouldn't be actively doing... Yeah, I haven't told it to do anything, but that doesn't mean it's not doing anything, because it might have been that I shut it down while it was doing something last time. And no, to answer the question, no, the other pilot pin wasn't crimped. I suspect actually this is designed with the expectation that you won't do what I'm doing with it. you won't put it on some old cable that's just lying around. That might be too big. Wedge that in. There we go. Keep going. Keep going. Okay, that's soldered. That's the nice thing about that one, is it's small. One more pin and a bit of cleanup, and we should be good for assembly. And then I'm going to plug this into the i3, which is parked out front. I'm not wholly surprised that there are Transport Evolved fans in Olympia, but it's kind of nice because I know that there's two Kia Niro EVs that I see, 4 or 5 Teslas. No faith, Derek. No faith. Good Lord. Though I wouldn't be, like, I love driving the i3 when it's working, it's great fun, but, and to be fair to it, it has been working recently, so I suppose, but it did put us through hell when we got it, just in terms of reliability. It was like the worst car I've owned, and I've owned an Austin 11, well, sort of an Austin 1100. Kind of the remains of Austin 1100. It's pretty much what most of them are. Right, excuse me. Did I get that about right? It's almost perfect. Okay. Got 10 foot of unspooled cable here. Oh, unspooled lead. Right, so cheeky trick, use the solder to make a better heat connection. There we go, and then I can just start feeding it into the wire. And you can all join me next week when I try and repair a Dyson fan. No, I will not be live streaming repairing a Dyson fan. That is not really a Transport Evolved thing. Also, there will probably be more swearing. But I did buy it broken, so it's not that it broke. For me, it broke for someone else. Looks like a capacitor's gone bang on that. And it may have taken out a voltage regulator. And some diodes. Right, here we go with feeding 40 foot of solder into here. Okay, just keep going. Nope. Well, that was unfortunate, wasn't it? So for those of you who didn't see, the pin moved, which is because the pin is not clamped in any way, shape or form. And I am not left-handed. Yeah. Come on. On you go. That's better. That is a dreadful smell of melting plastic. Okay. Yeah. were wondering why I can smell melting plastic, the answer is I'm managing to hit the insulation on the end of this wire that I've trimmed, because there's a little bit of insulation that I haven't managed to get off. Wow. Okay. Come on. Here we go. Here we go. That's it. Where did this all go? Good Lord. It's all come off. There we go. Yes, well, they're all attached. So that's nice. Need to give it a minute for them to cool down. Let's see whether there are comments. Yeah, I think... I don't know. I don't really understand what happened with Dyson. I do not have a fire extinguisher. I think you're seeing the lead, the solder from the lead. Lead from the solder. The flux from the solder. Right. Not super enthused with the quality of this. This has melted away. The black shrunk back. The white and the green were actually fine, but the black shrunk back a lot. So, product placement. This is liquid electrical tape. And Kate and the liquid electrical tape are going to be friends. This is slightly gone off liquid electrical tape. Stick. Stick. Ooh. It's going everywhere. That's it. There we go. Oh. There we go. Might need some fresh. Starbright liquid electrical tape with applicator brush cap. Excellent for all your liquid electrical tape needs, unless you've had it for a few years and it's gone kind of gooey, in which case less so. It's cool. Liquid electrical tape. I like liquid electrical tape. Not as much as I like heat shrink, but also liquid electrical tape cheaper and available in my house. However, also on my finger. Right. You see how Nikki went away for everything but the exciting bit. Right, okay, so let's see. Let's just wait a few minutes for that to dry. I would take you back over to the chickens, but my phone is not actually charging. It's charging at a rate which is approximately equal to the rate of usage. So every few seconds it flashes that it's flat. Yeah, it probably would. Derek says this would be better for recycling batteries where you need to put insulation on it. And yes, it probably would, but like I said, it does go off. So this is kind of gooey. When I first got it, it was actually like a proper liquid. I got it for some job in the house. When I was wiring the house, I had to insulate something. Obviously, that was very revealing, wasn't it? Such a helpful statement there. I needed to insulate something. That's why I bought liquid electrical tape. I think it's actually in the fuse panel. I there's one of the recycled breakers has a lead that I had to change. That's not dry yet. Oh, this is at least a couple of years old. So if you're going to get through it, then in less than a couple of years, then it's probably fine. But it's also, it's been it kept closed. So I guess if you're opening and closing it more, then you're probably letting out the magic vapor, and it probably would dry out a bit quicker. It does come in different colors. You can get it in multiple colors. I think I've got some red as well somewhere, which is probably equally knackered. But yeah, I've found it very useful. Mainly because I have a tendency when I'm soldering like things like this, and I'm struggling with getting them hot enough, then it takes a while. Then I often find the insulation shrinks back. So it's handy for that. Sorry, chickens are out and doing stuff. This is a very exciting 5 minutes while this dries, you see. At least enough. It's still not dry. So what I could do is just plug these all into the car. Not bother with the plug. Be fine. I'm sure that's perfectly safe. Don't do that. And I don't think I did say earlier, but just a reminder: make sure you unplug your charger before you do stuff like this. It's generally not a good idea to electrocute yourself. Free medical advice there: don't electrocute yourself. It's bad for you. So, what exciting things have I demonstrated that I haven't? I think I've talked about all the stuff that's out here. So this is Nikki's old Siemens unit, which I think is a 30 amp charger, if I remember right. So there we go. Yep, still a little bit gooey. But it's not an intelligent charger. It is just, you plug it in, it goes, you can delay charging. Nothing terribly exciting. At some point, I may try and lay my hands on a new OpenEPSE, because I have the version 4 of the OpenEPSE, but there is now version 5. I don't think we ever did the video on that. I did film some stuff on it, but it's just kind of me rambling at the camera like this, which is, you know, fine for take 2, but not really main channel content. Okay. I think we're probably dry enough that I can do assembly. As the Haynes manual says, assembly is the reverse of disassembly. That's 1, 2. Yes, it probably would. Right, okay. Well, you never want to get, for a lot of these news sites, you never want to have facts getting in the way of a good story. Okay, so I think this goes in here. Some way up or other. Green at the bottom, I think. Certain outlets. Okay. That's looking fairly correct. Okay. Not quite all the way seated though. I don't know if that's me. That feels like a me problem, not a... Yeah, I was right. This is a new challenge for me, trying to fix things in a way that other people can actually see what I'm doing. So I don't normally take the time to do that. So come on, in you go. Which one is not going? One of these is not going in. One of these pins is not going in, and now my little seals come out. There we go. In you go. Come on. Okay, so of course what would have made sense is to have brought keys out so that I can actually get and unlock the car to plug it in to test it. But I didn't do that. Yeah. And in answer to the earlier question, is the plug actually rated for waterproof as a waterproof plug? Yes, it is. It is IP54 rated, which I think is a waterproof rating. Just trying to hold various things with one hand. Okay. Come on. There we go. Go. Right. Oh, the excitement. It's almost unbearable. There we go. That is... Oh, that's looking much better. So there you go. You can see... Focus on that. There you go. So that's back in. All the pins are lined up. The little pin, the smaller one, is at the bottom. The ground. Right. Then we need to get the seal back down. Button. One button. Oh. Sorry. I'm going to do that. I'm not doing it where you can see. So it's a bit snug. Which you'd expect, I suppose, being a seal. Okay. Come on. Here we go. Calm down, ladies. They're getting very excited. I bet they're wondering whether this is going to work. Of course, what's always bad is when you take something that was slightly broken and you take it apart and you notionally think you've repaired it and then you've actually made it more broken. I've done that in the past. It's kind of upsetting. There we go. So that one. So this one doesn't really want to go in. Can't tell if there have been any more comments. Broken fuses. Broken fuses? I'm not sure I follow the question. Can you give me a bit more information about the broken fuses question? Okay. I wonder if that's far enough down that I can use this to squidge it down. Seems like it might be. Have a dead pie. Oh no! What happened to your pie? Do share while I'm doing battle with this, because it's super unexciting. What happened to your pie? Why is it dead? What have you done to it? You didn't give it to me, so... Well, that's not helpful. Alright. Why does that one not want to screw in? Might have to put this down for a second. Get some actual force on there. It really doesn't want to go in on that side. There's like a sputtery kind of thing. That's it. Alright, cool. Okay, that's it. Right, all the pins are now, all the screws are now caught. So, hurrah, hurrah and huzzah. It's kind of slowly squidging itself in. Recollection is this was roughly flush with the outside, but I can't honestly remember. I think that ceiling doesn't look quite as nice as I would like. Okay. Pins are in the right place. So, this is an entertaining and difficult piece of arrangement. So this is the disconnect switch on this one, which lives like that. So that's how it's meant to sit, which makes cable routing a little tricky. But I think if we just do a bit of cunning looping, that should sit in the right place. I am not at all convinced by the IP rating on this. I'm not sure what 57 is. It might be like, or 54 is. It might be like it's splash proof or something. It's certainly not gonna like resist being put in a bucket of water or anything. Particularly not because I note here, which I had not seen before, that it has two options for where you can position this hook. Which, if you... Yeah, this is not a waterproof handle. So we may be using a little bit of this insulating tape just to it's got all of this, it's got all these gaskets and things to stop water coming in through here, but then it has a hole here. So, and I suppose technically everything high voltage is insulated. In fact, it's got multiple holes in it. Everything high voltage is insulated, but it is not insulated. It is insulated. Everything high voltage is sealed. I suppose that's the way to look at it, is it's sealed where the high voltage bits are, but it is not sealed everywhere. So that's an interesting design decision. I wonder, that's not in the right spot. Okay, come out. If that's one way they've cost downed it, because these retail for about $60. And some of the nice ones retail for much more than that. So I wonder if that's one way they've reduced the cost, is by making their only waterproof bit the front. Squidgy. There we go. Oh no. There we don't go. Every time I say there we go, it pops out somewhere else. Let's see if we can just open it back up again for a second and see what's going on. Something is not working. It's not going to come apart until I take all the screws out, is it? No, Kate. Sometimes I'm a genius. Right, okay. What's going on that's stopping it close? Maybe we want to switch that. That seems... Tuck that under there. That seems okay. That's possibly a problem. Okay, I think that should all be okay. Sometimes, particularly with these cheaper parts, it's just a case of wiggling it until you get it exactly in the right spot. There we go. That's one end. Why? What's going on at this end? Is this that the screws are in the way? Sometimes that happens. No. This end of the handle doesn't want to go together now. The other end is good. This end not so much. Can't see a reason for that. May just be. Let's pop these screws in a bit. Do you think, hey Derek, should I get a Starbright sponsorship? Do you think they'll sponsor the show? One person sold. See, now that was good, and now it's not. Okay. I will admit, when I'm not on camera, there's more swearing. Quite a lot more swearing. Less patience, more swearing. Okay, let's try this. Come apart again. Yes, let's throw that on the floor. That's not quite what I had in mind. Come on. Come on. Ow. That's a noise I didn't like. Okay. Okay, what we might do is try putting that on there. See if that helps. That clearly has enough space. Ah, that should not be like that. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. I'm open to it. Starbright, if you want to contact us, I'm sure that Nikki would be open to sponsorship from Starbright. See you later, Nikki. Right, come on. Round we go. I think that's meant to be in there. So that is, oh, so cheap. Okay. So that's a short. That's a short. That's a long. Right, okay. Ah, that's probably part of it. Okay. Looks like it might go together. That looks like it might go together. What's going on up here to stop this going together? That's together and that's together. This is actually a great way to make me more patient because, you know, at some point during this I'd have probably had to go and have a cup of tea and be like, it's not going together and I'm annoyed and I need to pause. And actually having you lot here is really helpful because I feel like I probably shouldn't do that. Okay. No, I'm still not getting... I feel like it went together better than that before, but let's see whether this is a... You just need to tighten all the bits up a bit kind of thing. So I keep wanting it to fit together really snugly so it'll be waterproof, and then I have to remind myself that actually it's not waterproof. The only bit that's waterproof is here. Ah, see now what I have, as I've tightened it up, is actually a really consistent little gap. Except down here. That is not right. Okay. How many times can I assemble and disassemble this one plug? I'm going to just try tightening this side up a bit first. No, that seems alright. That, however, does not. That does not look alright. So, tightened up. My problem is right here. See that? That is not good. So, let's take this all out. I think we disconnected for a second. But I'm back. Again, if you actually are into watching people take things apart and explain what's going on, I really recommend looking at Big Clive. Big Clive is one of my other video channels that I occasionally watch just for, you know, because I have a background of some electronics geekery, and he's just entertaining. I know we're not meant to use our channel to advertise other channels, but it's a good channel. He doesn't really need advertising because he's well known, and he takes things apart, and occasionally he makes things go bang, which is quite entertaining too. Right, let's get this apart and see what's going on at this end, because I think this end is now sorted. The plug end is sorted, but the cable end not so much. Also have to undo this screw. I did not realise that Starbright were on Twitter. That had not even occurred to me, although it does say, and I should, you know, if I'm doing a product pitch, they are on Facebook, and it says they have a YouTube channel. So, I mean, I don't quite know what the YouTube channel of Liquid Electrical Tape would look like, but apparently they have one, so you can go check that out after this video, obviously. After the 3 hours of Kate dismantling and reassembling a plug. Come on, come apart. My not a spudger. My spudger alike. Okay. So maybe that sits the other side of this. I thought it sat that side. Might sit this side. Ah ha ha! I am a genius. It's got pins. It's got little tiny pins that are meant to hold the cable grip in the right spot on the cable and in the plug that I didn't see. So I think that does go there. I think that goes there. And I think, if I can, there we go. That's it. Right. The problem now is that this has popped out of the other half of the plug again. So you can see, unlike the other one which has a really nice coil spring, this has just a bit of bent, one of these cheapy bent springs. Everything's cheapy on this. But, you know, $50. $50. And hopefully the charger will actually behave itself properly now. Which would be nice. This, I think, actually is die-cast aluminium. Or aluminum, I suppose, since I'm in America. Okay, so let's run through our checklist before we reassemble for the 700th time. Actually, and I liked that better there, I think. Yes. So, pins are all in the right place, cables are all out of the way, switch is here. Click. It's the first time I've got a click from this end of the plug. Just very quickly do some of these up because they're actually in the right place for 30 seconds. Okay. This end will do up. Actually do the screw up this time, which is a good sign. Still not as tight as I would like there. Do you wonder if that... Maybe that does have to sit past that joint. Okay, part again. Maybe I'll start at this end this time. So we're going to try... This is one of those moments where if I wasn't doing this on camera, I would have taken a picture of the plug beforehand using my phone, because that's the kind of thing I do, just to make sure I got all the bits in alignment right. But because of you lovely folks who I love very much, I didn't do that, and now I am trying to work it out. So I'm going to blame you. It's all your fault. Why did you do this to me? I don't mean that. I don't mean that. I brought my tablet out so that I could take pictures, but it's such a terrible camera. I didn't bother to use it, and maybe I should have. Right. I think you might be about to be treated to one of Mimble's I'm Nearly Ready to Lay Eggs. Unfortunately, every time I do this, the release lever pops out. I know we're all coming out. All coming out to say hello. You can't see them, but they are all out. Having a little meander around their run. Or their extension to the run. They have a run and then they have an extension to the run, because we felt sorry for them, despite the fact that they have like 4 times the suggested amount of space for a chicken run. We felt sorry for them. There was a long time, well, I suppose a few years ago, there was a show with Hugh Fearnley Whittingstall, where he started, like it was the River Cottage series, and they had a vet come around to look at his sheep, and he was like, you can tell when people are new to this sort of thing because their animals are overfed. They look, you know, people are like, oh, they're so healthy, but actually they're overfed. And I suspect the same is true of chickens. Like, you know, in 5 years' time, we'll just be, well, they're fine. Yes, see, now that fits. That fits together. So that's what it was. I had the little ring, which I suspect is would be ferrite if it was a posher thing, but it's not that posh. So, okay. Okay. So far we've, I think we've product placed Maplin and Starbright. Maplin obviously being dead. I can also product place a Gunson's pocket meter, which has survived the abuse I've thrown at it, but I believe Nikki's one died, so take from that what you like. Incidentally, I went with the black handle just because the cable's black. I thought it might be interesting. There's no particular difference between the black and the white handles. They were the same price. I was like, well, cable's black. Might be fun to have a black handle. Okay. That feels like that should go together better than that. Here we go. That's it. Right, so now of course the tricky thing is that this this charger is on a breaker that doesn't always work very well. More accurately, it trips randomly. So I've tried various things, but it appears that it's actually the breaker that's the problem and nothing else. Oh hey, I could steal these. Should I steal these? And I say yes. Why? There's no real point to it. I might not steal them. I might put them back in the old one. No, I've started though. If you're all waiting to see if this works, this is the moment. Except that my phone's in E flat and I need to go get the keys. So we'll be returning to Chicken Cam for a minute, so that you can watch the chickens while I go and find the keys to the car. Also find that little white grommet that I dropped on the floor. I don't want. Well, we're not planning to let the chickens out in this area. So. I think it's gone forever. I'm going to take you over to the chickens. Be good. Don't upset them. just for the sake of chicken cam. Astrid loves grass. Right. Okay. So, I'm not sure how long my phone's battery is going to last, so let's hope it will last long enough. So the nice thing is that I can at last put the holster, the thing back on the holster, which is kind of nice, which it hasn't been able to do for a while. And it thinks it's happy. So this is our open EVSE, which is actually more conveniently located. I was going to go for the Bolt, but for the i3, but pin locked. Charger is on. Not charging right now because the car is actually full. But I don't think the cable will reach the i3 and the battery will die. So I'm going to take that as a success. And that's it for today, unless anyone has any chicken questions, because otherwise I'm going to pack my stuff up and go inside and edit video, because that's what I do in my spare time. Cool. Okay. Well, thank you everyone. Have a good day. And bye.